That's what that is. Hopefully that just distracts you from my hair being a mess, though. Because that is annoying. That is annoying. Alright, so let's do this. To the bottom right-hand side, we're going to kick things off with the blue Terran player. Give it up if you're going to be cheering on GuMiho. And he's going to be going up against the red Zerg to the top left-hand side of the map from Splice. It is Solar. So best of 3 series today. This is going to be our first best of 3. And we're going to have 6 best of 3s throughout the day, providing our players do show up. Again, we're waiting on Keen and Namshar to show up, who just weren't here just yet. Now again, I do feel as though this might, to some extent, be my fault, because somehow on the Team Liquid calendar we had the incorrect time. We had the event starting an hour later, which is just completely not true. And I have no idea why exactly it was like that, because I submitted the 2 events at the same time, so somewhere along the ways I messed up. So if the players were using that to base when they were going to start off of, well then they may very well show up an hour later than we're expecting them to. So that could be unfortunate. As you see the gas pool opening for Solar, he will be immediately up against the free-rack sweeper player of GuMiho, so it's going to be action-packed from the very get-go here in Game 1 of this TVZ. Honestly, I kind of like it from GuMiho because it's going to be a good way to stay safe and a good way to just build up nicely against the aggression of his opponent, which is very likely to come in on this map, and it just sort of gives you the units early on to defend and try and put yourself into that better position. I saw Björn doing this actually on Monday against Dark in his matchup in the WardiTV Weekly Season 1 Finals. And back on Monday, I remember that Björn was just sort of a little bit complacent with his Reapers, and all of a sudden Dark had an army across the map, and all of a sudden he was busting through the front. And so GuMiho, with this attack, he really does need to make sure that he's gonna keep these Reapers alive, keep them harassing, you know, really keep the Zerg player busy, and make sure that if he does try to get across the map, you're going to delay as much as possible. Because a big part about defending against attacks when you've got a Reaper-based opener is the fact you can delay so much. Now in Paladino, you don't get quite as much time to delay because it's a very short map, and so you have very little time to react. And with that little, with that less lower time to react, you got to start, preparing a little bit more and all the rest of it as well, and being a little bit more cautious. We do see this Reaper just moving around. We're going to see a hatchery finishing up on the lower ground. And there's the second Reaper to get this damage really started now. As we're going to be seeing this Queen just trying to fight here. The Reaper's trying to pull back a little bit. And I'm just going to be seeing the Zerglings too, looking to see what is going on. So Feelings looking to see what they can do. 8 more of them on the way. Solo going for Ling only defense here, so really confident in the fact that he just does not need roaches in this. And to be fair, I mean, you look at the map and do you need roaches? Well, there is definitely a couple of ways the Reapers can continue to jump away. But there's definitely, if they jump down here, they're very quickly locked into a corner, and that means that the Zerglings can very quickly catch them and pick up some kills. So overall, it's a tough one to call, I guess. I mean, the lack of roaches is not the end of the world, but it can create issues if you're not on top of your Zergling usage. So Solo needs to be very careful with that, I suppose. And as we see these Reapers still just moving around, moving underneath this Overlord, and well, do you see Free Barracks still just producing Reapers at this point with another CC on the low ground, and there is the factory on the main base. So continue to tech on up here as the Reaper's actually going to jump around these Zerglings and just going to get a couple of Zergling kills, if even that. I don't think he even got a couple of Zergling kills. However, there's the Lings on the low ground too, and now GuMiho is in a bit of an issue because suddenly these Reapers don't have anywhere to go. They're trying to get to the south side and they've just managed to make it out. But that was very, very scary for a couple of moments. And now, of course, they're not really in the best of positions to continue on with the rest of this sort of, with the rest of the ways in which this game is setting up. So, Lolings around the center. Reapers are starting to head back home. And we do see some Marine production on the way now. He'll actually cancel one Marine, build a tech lab instead. Time to start moving in towards his Stimpak and other upgrades in this game, which will help him out as the game goes on. Hatchery on the third base too from Solar. And all together here, things starting to look very, very normal indeed. So as this tech lab finishes for GuMiho, we are going to see a couple more Marines just going to actually cancel and actually going to build reactors instead. And obviously feeling confident enough that he's going to have plenty here to work with as we're going to see Queens moving forwards. And well, that's going to be one dead Queen. Nope, not one dead Queen, one very low health Queen. 5 hit points, very nearly going down, but GuMiho not quite getting the final shot off of it. So, I mean, overall, Solar's doing a really good job. Only 9 Lings lost against the 1 Reaper. It's a lot kept alive here from Solar, and that's really nice for him. That's something which he's going to be very happy with. See Reapers jump up to the high ground again, grenades. This time GuMiho is in trouble as the Zerglings surround, and that's going to be every single Reaper going down here, and immediately Solar can move onto the map with these Zerglings. However, he will be hitting into, well, a bit of a barracks wall on the other side of the map, and so there's not really a lot you can do with just these Zerglings. And this is why maybe the Roach Ravager play could have been a nicer way to follow up, because if all of a sudden he kills off those Reapers with Roaches up, you attack across this map, you bile down the stim pack, and you at least get some very good damage done, instead of your best shot here of the Zerglings being to somehow kill this depot, and then to stream in through a very narrow choke point into a whole bunch of Marines. Still though, he gets rid of the Reapers, and even if he can't counterattack, it does mean now that he can focus on drones. He doesn't have to worry about that harassment that comes in from the Reapers time and time again. What he does have to worry about, though, is what GuMiho is going for, which is a bit different, a bit interesting. He's gone for the reactor on the factory, he's not swapping it onto the starport, he's building up Hellions with an armory finishing as well, and he's going to go for like a Hellbat Marine stim timing, something which is going to work very well if there's only really Zerglings on the map. So this could work out very nicely actually for GuMiho, if Solo doesn't recognize what's going on just yet. And it's a bit of a different opening, or a bit of a different follow-up, I should say. A follow-up we're maybe not quite expecting, a follow-up which we're not really used to seeing, and that's why it could work so well here, because if Solo's just not prepared for this timing, well, what's he going to do? You can see now the Bayonet's about a third of the way done, the melee upgrades are coming in, but they're not going to be able to help out, and that's a lot of Hellbats and Marines with Stim to go up against just Ling Queen. And well, here we go, GuMiho is going to start fighting in. Stim's not actually finished just yet, but it doesn't even matter, he takes down everything, and Solo has to GG out of the game. And that's going to be game number 1 going the way of GuMiho in this best of 3 series when it truly comes around. For now, we might even have 2 more games yet to go, so let's see what happens. It's the bottom right hand side of the map. Our Blue Terran player came up with a nice little timing just there, representing Psystorm Gaming here as well. It is GuMiho in the bottom right hand side, a Newkirk precinct. Bottom left is going to be the Red Zerg player. Give it up if you're going to be cheering on Splice Gaming Solar. Again, what's up everyone in the chat? How are you all feeling today? Let me know what's up, how you all doing, if you're excited for the weekend, if your weekend's already begun. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what's going on, what's happening in the world of StarCraft 2 and in the world of you guys. So let me know what's up, let me know how you all feeling. And hope you're all having a wonderful day, ready for the weekend, basically. I'm going to spend the weekend trying to fix internet at the office, so that we can maybe actually go back to casting from there, rather than casting at home off of my blue snowball and with dogs barking. Actually, I mean, the dogs are okay right now, but I promise you guys in about an hour, the dogs will go wild when my mum comes in, and there'll be issues, I promise you. There'll be issues, I promise you. Alright, so, you're going to be seeing a... Going to be seeing overlords just across the map. I've just got a message from Namshar, so at least Namshar is here now. One second. Sweet. Alright. Yeah, so it was just the Team Liquid mess up that was messing up the players as well. God damn it. That is my fault, but I just can't understand how I changed it to be wrong in the first place. Like, that really boggles my mind. Anyways, you can see this Ripper coming across the map. Appreciate you guys kind of understand the silence there for a couple of moments just to just contact one of the players. Obviously, better to have a minute or so of silence now rather than no play afterwards, to have no further matches or something. So, you see this Reaper is being chased away by the few Zerglings here. Not too much GuMiho can really do with this at this point, as the link speed is going to be coming up to being about halfway done. Hatchery coming down at the third base as well from Solar. And we do see the factory about to finish also with the reactor finishing up on this barracks. So with the natural CC on the way down, we actually see a third CC being built by GuMiho. And this is a meta switch which we've really seen from Terran players in the last week or two, where we're seeing a lot more very fast free command center builds which allow the Terrans to build up a strong economy early and to go from there. However, we've also seen, for example, Sue yesterday really showing us how to punish these fast fake, free command center builds by going for big Roach Ravager timings, by hitting with the +1 attack, and a few other, bits and pieces as well. There's a few different ways he punished it. They were all kind of Roach based, but they hit at different timings. So you know, basically Solar, if he can figure this out, that would be great, because then he can maybe be able to go for one of those attacks, which can shut this down before the economy and the production really gets set up to go. Now, just before we continue with the game, thank you very much, Dovenwolf, who just hit us up with a sub via Twitch Prime. Get some STI hearts in the chat, please. Thank you very much for subscribing, do appreciate. And, well, welcome to the stream, of course, as well, and thank you for subbing. Appreciate the support. Hope you're enjoying the games. And again, we are confirmed at least a few more games, because now that Namshar is here, we're only missing Keen, and I'm pretty sure Keen will show up closer to the in the next 30 minutes or so. I think it's just again a mix-up because of Team Liquid. So either way, we see a Rotron dropping down from Solar back at home, so there's that possibility there of getting somewhat aggressive. His Overlord will not see too much, however. Coming in towards the base, he just sees the starport landed onto a tech lab, and the barracks moving away from that tech lab as it was just building it. So for Solar so far, he doesn't quite know what this is, and as GuMiho takes 2 extra gases, well, that's the real information to be gained right now. The fact that this is mech from GuMiho. 4 gas at this point in the game off of the fast 3cc. Nothing else makes sense other than a few extra factories. I mean, initially here goes the armory, so you can get a bit of a Hellbat attack rolling. There is going to be a mech-based follow-up as well. And do we expect any different from GuMiho? Well, arguably not. Arguably, GuMiho is just sort of expecting to make this sort of play style happen because he loves his mech play. And GuMiho, he's always been one of these players who will invest into weirder builds, invest into the mech as well, and that's exactly what we're seeing from him in this series. In Game 1, a time in which we wouldn't really say is too common or anything, and in Game 2 now looking towards that mech play, as we see now the extra 2 factories being added on. So GuMiho really just playing into his own playstyle here, doing GuMiho sort of things, and here we go. But we're going to be seeing this Liberator coming in and looking to see what's going on. So we're going to be seeing the Spore Crawler coming into position. And you're seeing a little bit of damage being done, so yeah, again, I mean, not too much. I mean, just force the mostly force the drones to pull away. Doesn't actually pull this Liberator back, so Liberator will go down very quickly there. And we're just going to be seeing these fuse creep tumors continue to push forward some soul to give himself some good map control to work with. Now he does have a Spider coming down, however, this was sighted by the Liberator, and so GuMiho should just immediately go into 2-4s when he gets the tech labs on the second and third factory. So this should be GuMiho fairly well prepared against this, an engineering bay about to finish too, so you can really see that GuMiho is going to be well prepared in time for the Mutalisks. He's not going to be caught off guard by those at all, as he is making a Banshee or 2, and that's definitely understandable. We've seen so many Roach-based times the last couple of days from Zergs, especially against 3cc Terrans, that even against, even as a mechan player, the Banshees just help you with that extra layer of safety while your production really kicks in, while you really start to get the 4 numbers up, the tanks up, and all the rest of it as well. Now, I guess the Italians continue to move across the map, and this Overseer right now from Solar continue to move around as well. There's going to be seeing a Viking coming forwards and just starting to pick his way through that. I mean, the Banshee is moving around as well. It's actually these Hellions up to the top side. Look at this. 8-10 drones killed already. Zergling's going down too, and these drones are stacking on up as Solar does not have an answer to these Hellions still. Queen now about to go down too. A few more workers falling. That's 19 workers killed in the last few moments here, and I guess a couple more perhaps still. I mean, here come the Mutas to help clean this up. A few Roaches as well. But this was messy. 20 workers is not something you can really afford to lose at the 7-minute marker just to a handful of Hellions. Maybe if you kill off the entire army while losing 20 drones, it's recoverable. But 20 drones and you just kill 6 to 8 Hellions? Not pretty. However, on the counterattack here, Mutas and Ling's going to start streaming in. Yes, there's a few Hellions getting here ready to go, as the Mutas just not going to be able to do enough with the 4 coming in from the north side and the turret in location being repaired. He can't do that much at all. It looks as though we had a Banshee across the map as well at the same time. That's just being cleaned up now, but not before we picked up another 3 workers in the game, and so just a bit more damage being done here by GuMiho, putting himself into a bit of a better position in this game. +1/+1 missile upgrades on the way up now. The Roach speed starts as well from Solar, so he continues to set up into this as you see the Mutas coming through. And a couple of SCVs starting to go down as well. So some workers being worked against. 6 SCVs picked off here, and Solar's still just looping around, and we've seen a Muta or 2 getting picked off. So another Muta or so going down right now as Hellions from GuMiho continue across to the left hand side. We're going to see a couple of creep tumors starting to get picked away at. There's 1, there's 2, there's the 3rd. I mean, it's nice, just slow Solar down a little bit as GuMiho will continue to build on up. And I mean, from Solar's point of view, now he's got a really weak position in this game. Not only did he lose a lot of drones, he's got Mutalisks, which aren't really doing that much damage. He's got a lot of Zerglings, which aren't going to do anything against these Hellions and Hellbats. So what are you meant to do now as Solar? well, not flying into those fours. I mean, while the meters can't really get much done, you know, at least try to get something done with them. I mean, obviously that's what he's trying to do, but the fours are denying him for now as, I mean, they'll regen a little bit, try and head towards the main base. I mean, even if you get a couple SCVs, it's something at this point compared to a situation where you're just not doing anything. And he'll try and chase a tank down, but once again, there's a 4, and he just has to pull away with those Mutalisks. And GuMiho is sitting about 25 supply ahead at this point in the game. It's continuing to look pretty great. Now, Solo does have a lot of money in the bank, and that is something worth mentioning because he's about to finish up the Hydralisk Den, he's about to finish up the Infestation Pit, and that's going to allow him to spend that money on some better units, some units that have just passed the tech of roaches, and it's going to be something he can really invest into that might very well be worthwhile for him here, as we see him now up to 82 workers, really focusing on the idea of having a good economy so that he can attack, lose his army a little bit, rebuild instantly, and go once again and just keep on attacking. That has got to be the goal for Solo right now in this game. As we see, well, Hellbats and tanks and the 4s and the Banshees all joining up together again, ready to move out again. GuMiho is definitely pushing with an advantage right now. I mean, he's got so far ahead from that early Hellbat-based attack. Let's see what he can do as this army moves over to the left-hand side. Here, a couple of Hellbats. You're going to start picking off creep tumors already. I mean, here come the Mutalisks. They're going to go down instantly. That's not really anything of use as we see some Lings. I mean, they'll counter-attack, and, well, how much will they slow the Terran player down by? Well, maybe a little bit. 2 Hellions and a tank in position, that's about it. And that's something you can definitely work with, so it's something at least, as we see these Hydras going to start trying to kite against the Hellbats, some creep, trying to do something with this. We see some, I don't even know what those are morphing in, just Overseers? Well, I don't know why you need so many Overseers, I guess just for the Banshees. I was going to see, well, the Hellions over this side of the map in the 4, they do clean up these things in the end as well. So Solo not getting much damage done with this. He's lost his 4th base, and now his 5th base being targeted down too. He is running out of options right now. Back at home, GuMiho completely safe now as well. And Solo just continues to set up just to the left-hand side. He has a couple of tanks fired down on this army, splitting up his units a little bit. Once again, getting ready to hit a concave. I mean, Viper's on the way up. If there's one way you can fight against this, it's going to be with those Vipers in play, so that he can come in and just engage without the tanks firing for just that little while longer. So Solo buying time, seeing if you can make something happen here. I mean, 2-2's about 50 seconds away. I think that's a very hopeful kind of number to aim for, a very hopeful goal to aim for, in terms of not engaging until that's finished. So I think he just has to wait for Vipers. 2 of them are now out. He's starting to consume to get the energy onto those, I imagine. And he will be ready to make his one fight in just a few moments' time. The one fight which he needs to use to win this game, basically. Or not win this game, but to at least push this army back. I mean, in terms of reinforcements, though, 4s keep coming across. Solo is at least maxed out, so it's something for himself here. I mean, if he can break out of this double expand, maybe there's a way. You know, I wouldn't say it's impossible. I like to keep hope. But it's not going to be pretty when you've got to attack into a siege tank line on your own side of the map. There's turrets being set up as well. That's going to help against the Vipers from trying to fly in. And here we go. I think Solo realizing that momentarily he has to make this push forwards into what is a very spread out Terran player. Let's go. Here we go. Starts this fight. Roaches in the front, Hydras in the back. The Vipers will come in. Drops one blinding cloud to the north side. Drops another to the south, which forces the 4s to move a bit further forwards. There is a couple tanks in the back that aren't doing anything. But I think the reality is that there's just too much mech here at the front. Only 2 blinding clouds are not going to be enough. And especially when they come down on like a couple of 4s which just so easily move forwards. And yes, they move into the army, but they're still there and they're still firing once again so quickly. It's not like landing those blinding clouds on top of a whole bunch of sieged up tanks. GG and GuMiho.